I'm a freshman in college taking a class called Intro to Environmental Arts, and this week I have my first big project. There's a step-by-step process outlined in the assignment, starting with reflecting on my past experiences, then observing the natural environment around me, and finally creating an artwork that brings both of these elements together into a final piece.
What's the first thing you think of when you hear the words nature and wilderness? Is there a difference between them?
When I think of nature, I first think of green leaves. Intellectually, the words nature and wilderness do have slightly different connotations in my mind. Wilderness is untouched, the collective ecosystem. I think of a deciduous forest intuitively. Nature, in my mind, can be more fragmented. The grass on my lawn is an element of nature, but I don't think of it as an element of the wilderness.
Do you bring plants or animals into your home? Why did you get them and why are they important to you?
I used to grow super hot peppers, which take a really long time to mature. So I would start the seeds indoors in December or January and bring them outside around April after there was no chance of frost. They're important to me especially because I would see them all the way from seed to fruit. I would be a different person from the time I planted them to when they died.
When uninvited animals, commonly referred to as pests, come into your home, do you ever think of them as nature?
Not really. I normally just want them to get out. Part 2 is about observing the forms of nature I experience in my everyday life, starting in my dorm room. This includes representations of nature, like the pepper plants on the logo for this bottle of hot sauce. I found a cartoon polar bear on the bib I saved from a race I ran last semester. A cool wallpapery flower design on my favorite hoodie. I saw these olive branches on a dollar bill in my wallet. Next, I walked around the outside of my building. I found a bird flying by, some potted plants, grass, lots of grass, cool flowers, and some different trees. Finally, following the assignment directions, I went to the place closest to my dorm that I think of as nature, which is actually just like a 30-second walk away. I photographed pigeons in flight, more grass, what I think is a cherry tree, an oak tree, lichen on tree bark, a little pine cone in the snow, and some spruce trees. The culmination of this project is to create some sort of art piece that brings together the natural elements that we've collected from the world around us and our own observations. I went to Rite Aid with the intention of getting poster paper to use as a background. I ended up with craft paper. I don't know what this is, I don't know how well it's gonna work, but I'm gonna try cutting a sheet from it to use as the background, and then I've printed out a bunch of the pictures that I took from inside my dorm room and from outside in the very local environment. And we're gonna see what we can do. It's kind of like doing a puzzle, except there's no right or wrong answers, and I can do whatever I want. I'm kind of just playing around, trying different things. If it works, it works. If I end up not liking it, oh well, it's not the end of the world. But I've liked most of the things that I've done and just been focused on the process of making the art, the journey of doing it, and the decision making, like just like the analytical process of creativity that goes into it, of just rolling with the punches. And like I if I had a choice of any like materials that I could use, I would have picked glue and just glued everything down, and like you wouldn't be able to see, like with tape you can see the tape all over, but I used tape because I didn't have glue. And so I started using Scotch tape, and I think it looks kind of cool that like stuff is taped on and you can see that. And then I ran out of Scotch tape, so then I started using like I think it's masking tape or something, whatever this clear tape is. And this is cool because it's like Scotch tape, but even more low profile. You can't see it as well, but you could still see it, and it just looks cool. I think so. Like I never would have made those decisions if I had all the resources, but I'm cool with how it's turning out. So just like being able to roll with the punches and not stress out too much about, oh, I want it exactly like this, and more just like going with the flow. I didn't have a vision exactly of like what this was gonna be like, coming in. I didn't have a super strong vision. And so just like going with it is really fun and like reminds me why, I don't know, why I like being creative. Because like, I don't know, I feel like creativity, like it's great and cool to have your strong vision. And that's maybe what we think of when we think of creative people, is like the really, really strong vision. But if you just have a really strong vision and you execute exactly on that vision, is that really creativity? Or is that more, I don't know, analytical, scientific, like just like the vision might be creative, but then the process is not really all that much of a process. The process was coming up with the idea, but not actually executing it. And a lot of the time, that's the way I do a lot of my stuff, is like, I'm not able to experiment that much. I don't end up experimenting all that much within the process of doing things. So that's what I'm trying to do here with this channel, and just with everything that I do in general more. Like, not even art stuff, just life in general. Like, experimenting with things, trying new things, act like pretending, just making life my experiment, and like carrying out these little tests, these little like, I'm gonna do this today that I haven't done before. I'm gonna like, whatever it is, going through life with that sort of creative outlook of like, and again, you do something, it doesn't work, or it's not, or you don't have like, in life, I run out of Scotch tape, like, okay, like we'll find, we'll find something else. We'll like, it'll be okay. We'll get through it. And I don't know. I mean, I think it connects so heavily to the things that I've been struggling with, honestly, in terms of like staying in school, not staying in school. What am I doing the rest of my life? I had this really strong vision of like, I know exactly where I'm going and I know exactly how to get there before coming into school. And I've been discouraged by being at school because it's sort of ruined that vision a little bit, or maybe lose sight of it. And now it's making me think, maybe I don't know exactly how to get there. Maybe college works too. Maybe this has benefits over just working exactly the way I would have done by myself to get to where I wanted to go. I don't know, like maybe this is a framework that I can use for that too. I didn't mean for this clip to turn into a podcast episode, but that's kind of what happened, and I hope the ramblings made some sense, and maybe I'll tie them together with a voiceover, or maybe I'll just leave it like this. But yeah, okay. I think I'm pretty much done. I might do a little more, just like I've been outlining some of the leaves and little bits with pen to, I don't know, just add a little touch. So I might keep doing that, and then I'm gonna have to see how I can get this up on my wall. I don't know if I have space even anywhere. We'll have to see. It's pretty big. My teacher ended up giving me some really nice feedback, with the caveat that I should have used glue rather than tape. Fair play.